Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today I have for you Transformers Generations Legacy Bulkhead in his vehicle mode. Now, of course, this is the Prime Bulkhead, and before I really get into this, one of the channels that I watch a lot and has helped me to do my own YouTube channel, Perspective In, is trying to achieve a goal of his own by August or September, and that goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers. And they're currently at a little over 7K. So if you wouldn't mind, go over there and check them out. Maybe you'll like them too. I do. All right. Yeah. Let's get into this guy. So, Bulkhead here is a bulky bot. And some people have called him just a brick when you transform him, but he's more than that. And we're going to talk about it. First off, we're going to talk about sizing. So, lengthwise, from the tailgate to the bumper, we get a size of 16 studs long. This is a long vehicle. Now, let's get it on the width, and the width is 9 studs wide. He is a bit wider of a vehicle than what we're used to. And height-wise, he stands at 8 studs tall. So he's 8 studs tall. Not the tallest vehicle we've had to work with, but definitely on the list of taller vehicles. All right, where's our friend Cliff Jumper at? So we can get a nice comparison of sizes. Here's Cliff Jumper. Cliff Jumper sits right there beside him. Cliff Jumper, we back the bumpers up together, and the nose of Cliff Jumper comes to the front wheel of Bulkhead. Now we're going to do a back-to-back comparison, and we see that Bulkhead is almost 2 Cliff Jumpers wide. And now for a part that I think is really cool, and one of the reasons why I just cannot get to liking the Ultra Magnus from the Siege and Earthrise stuff, a War for Cybertron Ultra Magnus, because you can't put a vehicle in him, and that's just like, what's the use of a car carrier if you can't open up the back tailgate thing and put a vehicle in? What's the use of that? And it upsets me. And like, I get the love of the robot modes, but I love Transformers for everything. The robot, the vehicle, and the transformation. If it doesn't have all three that turn out pretty well, it's not a good Transformer in my opinion. And focusing too much on one mode and letting go of the other modes does hurt the Transformers experience. And so here, we'll show you what this guy can do that Ultra Magnus can't. So you can fold down his back little tailgate legs, where his feet become the tailgate, and there's a ramp. And then you just push him up here. Now here you do have to unpin the back of the vehicle, this canopy that we talked about. You have to unpin it a bit, so that Cliff Jumper can just roll up in there, and then you fold up his little feet, and there you go. Bulkhead can now carry around an injured Cliff Jumper, or a Cliff Jumper can chill out on the back at the tailgate. But that's an idea that you could possibly go with. And I just wanted to showcase that. Like, Bulkhead can actually carry a Cliff Jumper inside of him decently well, and it doesn't look too bad. So there you go. I think that's really cool. And I really do enjoy this. So this is I don't know the exact model of this, like what type of vehicle it is exactly, but I do know what type of vehicle it is. And this is a logistics vehicle for a military logistics truck. It's got the green tarp on the back, which I'm pretty sure this is a green tarp, if I remember people talking about it right. Anyway, it's also a military logistics truck. It's going to have a green or brown tarp. It's just necessary for military logistics trucks. It's not the type of military logistics truck that has the the front engine bit. It's actually it's not like a Freightliner style. It's more of a Mack truck, big flat front style, which is all right. And it's so cool to actually have a deuce and a half, or this one may actually be a 5-tonner, but a deuce and a half meaning it carries 2.5 tons worth of gear and materials. Like, that's its standard carrying weight. But this guy, because of his enhanced front end and how big this front end looks, I'm assuming that it's actually a 5-ton logistics truck and not one of the weaker 2.5 tons. So that's pretty cool. we never get logistics vehicles, and it's something that it's just it's odd. And personally speaking, I like logistics vehicles because I understand that without logistics vehicles, a military cannot thrive. Yeah, yeah, your tanks can go so far before they need refueling, or the men, you need new men and stuff like that. You gotta, or even food. These guys deliver all of that. They deliver fuel, they deliver food, they deliver men, they deliver equipment, they deliver ammunition, and in the sad cases, they deliver bodies to be sent back home. But these guys are the truck that delivers everything in an army, in a military. It's the logistics vehicle that really makes an army an army. Yeah, an army is can only move as far as its soldiers can eat, and that's important. I've read a lot about armies. I'm a big army buff, and it's just I was super excited to finally have one of these vehicles, and they did it so well. Like, let's get into the texturing. I've blathered on enough about military logistics vehicles and how much I enjoy them. So this is a flat-fronted semi-truck. So like Optimus Prime, and that's where a lot of people were assuming this would be an Optimus Prime retool, but it's not. It's not at all. The front bit, I've already talked about this mess up with the quality control QC problem with the right hand rear view mirror and how it just got a little too much plastic right there. But no, we got some nice molding there for they molded in the windshield wipers that come down from the top and swing back and forth. Actually, no, they come down from the side and swing up and down. And down here you got some nice texturing of a good solid armor panel, and on the sides you can feel that there are headlights. I don't know if they colored them in, but you can feel the texture for them. And down here you get the texture for what feels like more headlights, as well as this winch area that has a bunch of cord tied up in it. And then over here is more. And oddly enough, it doesn't feel like there's actually any vents that allow the engine to breathe here, which I'm not sure what's going on with that. But then again, it's a Cybertronian robot, so he doesn't really need vents to cool himself. Let's talk about more than just the front of it. So on the top, we don't have the normal little bumps that would be like, the front, the top running lights and maybe a horn or something. It's all smooth up there. And there's that panel that folds down for the head, and that's got smooth texture to it too. This is just a nice smooth top of a vehicle. And you get over here to the back end of it, and you do feel the joint area where the flap that the canopy connects to is connected to. And there's a little gap there, but you would expect a gap to be in the canopy right there. And that's also nice for the soldiers because that wind will come through and come down into the canopy and kind of give them a nice breeze. That is, unless it's negative 32 degrees outside, and the soldiers are not going to appreciate that one at all. The canopy itself, they did a decent job molding the texture of fabric in there. You can feel the little folds and wobbles of the fabric where the wind has maybe caught it in certain areas, or it's just wrinkled. And now that's a nice little added bonus. I really appreciate the fact that they do take the time to set these molded in details into the molds. Like, they don't have to do that. They can just give us a plain flat canopy piece with studs on it. They could have just done that, but they didn't. They actually spent the time and took this little small detail and made it a point to include it. Now let's get down over here to the wheels. The wheels are all pegged in, but they have siege ports in them, which is unique. I don't know if we've got a vehicle so far that has had siege ports in the wheels. I like that. I think it's kind of neat. Though it's also a little negative on the fact that these wheels do spin. It would have been cool if there was a way to lock the wheels in place, but I understand, only so much engineering can go into this. There is a stable siege port that isn't connected to a wheel on each side of the vehicle, almost directly beneath the standing out ports, the two pegs, one on each side of it. But this port is right between the two front wheels, right above them, in the middle of the wheel well that they're in. And it's nice to have a stable point there. And let's get on to the front of the vehicle now. On the side, we get one more wheel, and we get this nice textured gas tank here. It even has a gas cap textured in there, which is really cool. And on the other side, we also have a gas tank with a textured cap. The sides of the vehicle have some nice little texturings to them at the cab area. You can kind of feel the cutout of a door, which is really nice. I have to say, they've done really good with this. And now let's flip it upside down, because the underside of the vehicle isn't really ever looked at or focused on. But this one's done a decent job. Like it isn't a great underside of a vehicle, but it's a very clean underside of the vehicle. You got this area here where the fists go in. It's made it a nice smooth undercarriage area. It has, you can use your imagination and make that into like the bottom side of the engine. Maybe it has a couple of oil pans. And then down here, you've got these two big armor sections for his legs that come up on either side of the vehicle, but there's a space between them. And then you're like, well, it can't work without an axle. Like, well, why can't this thing be a six-wheel drive vehicle? Why can't there just be an engine for each one of these wheels included inside of this big armor section? And these days, where we do have small enough engines where you can put an engine on each wheel, Tesla Motors has shown us that. So this is actually viable. This is a viable option, and it wouldn't have a vent if it was an electric truck. So this could just very well be an electric-powered logistics vehicle. And that sounds amazing, because all the logistics vehicle the Army has, if they've figured out a way to power them quickly and get them out there, wow. This could be something we see in the future, an electric-powered logistics vehicle. But that's my assumption on it, and looking at all the detail and stuff and realizing, like, the way it's built, this is all set up, it's almost as if it is electric, because each of these, this big area on each side of the underwheels could very well be the engines for the front wheels, and then you got all these giant engine back areas for the back wheels. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Siege port-wise, he's got 7 available in vehicle mode, only 2 of which are stable. And then peg-wise, he's got 1, 2, and 3. The top one can fold up and down from its perch in the shield, and that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I really hope that you like Bulkhead as much as I do. I found Bulkhead to be a surprising figure. It's nice to get a figure that's new and interesting, and I'm a fan of G1, but also I understand that G1 has its day, and it's had its day. It's had its day multiple times. So on one hand, I'm glad I can finally get a hold of some of the G1 stuff that I've always loved and wanted. But at the same time, I am just as happy to get a hold of Prime Universe Bulkhead right here, because he's showing me a Transformers show I've never even seen before. And this transformation is unique. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure what the vehicle would be at the end of it. It didn't have any attachment to G1, so I didn't have any of the G1 show to go off of. This was a completely new experience for me, and I loved it more because of that. So, Bulkhead is definitely number 1, number 2 next to Blaster, but he's up there, and he is just so much fun. I just love this little guy. Whether he's in vehicle mode or he's in robot mode, this dude is just a lot of fun. And I hope that you can have fun with him too. But I think I've taken up enough of your time for today. Please go below and do all the things everyone else asks you to do, if you wouldn't mind. And I will see you next time, where we will be discussing something new. Possibly a Dragon Megazord. Until next time.